Hey, hey, hey. Hey, 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 hey. How you doing? Hey. How you doing? Yeah. How you doing? Yeah. How you doing? Yeah. I just made that up real quick when I came on here with y'all. How you doing? I'm looking for something, y'all, because I can't hear. Hold on a second. How you doing? I see somebody just came in here. Don't be shy. In the Chizat, speak up. I can't find what I'm looking for, so I can turn this thing down so I can hear y'all. Really hear myself. How you doing? How you doing today? Welcome. Welcome everybody. It's me, your girl, City John, and we're here today on Tuesday. For many of us, it's Taco Tuesday. Tuesday, February 28th, 2023, on this Gregorian calendar. And I am here to work with you and myself, because I include myself when I get these messages as well. I'm here to work with us all to get into this month's divine guidance. If you are here, that means that you are a faithful subscriber to my Patreon channel. And for that, and also for just you being who you are and being yourself, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here, for supporting, and for tuning in to hear these divine messages. Make sure you have your pen, your pencil, and your paper if you want to take some notes on what we go into today. Make sure you have your water. I'm going to take a sip real quick. And I also have some, this might even be better because it's warm. I have some peppermint tea here because that's good going down. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was good going down. So, all right, babe. We're not going to waste no time. I said we're not going to waste no time because today we are doing the full ritual, meaning that I am going to do everything with you all live. I'm going to set myself up. I'm going to pray and pick the cards live with you guys today. So, if this is your first time here, welcome. And this is something that we do every month. I am an intuitive, holistic wellness coaching counselor. And part of what I do is receive messages that are important for the entire collective, for me, for those who are connected to me, and for those who are connected to them, for the collective, right? I do these once a month. It's a Patreon exclusive. I do also do excuse me, readings for individuals. I do individual and group holistic wellness coaching. So tap into the links under this video or in my bio so that you can tap in with those services as well. Anything else I want to say before we jump in? Let me think. If you're here for the first time, what we're about to do is a 3 or 4 card oracle card reading. Let me fix my shirt. It was like a little off center. And we just go with the energy. I don't really have any rules for this. I just let divine lead me where we're supposed to go. I do also want to say happy solar return to all of my Pisces sisterin and brethren who celebrate their solar return during the time of Pisces. I'm a Pisces moon, so we got a little relation there. And that's it. I'm not gonna go any further without getting deeply into it. Now, if it's not your first time here, you may recognize or remember that I usually pull the cards ahead of time and do my ritual and things ahead of time just so it can save time on this particular video, because I promised y'all 40 minutes. And sometimes, doing all those things can surpass that. And I want to always respect your time. So if you are not new to these monthly sessions, then this part will be new to you. All right, but just tap in with me, just relax, get your water, get your whatever else you need to get. And all right, we're going to have a good time. So I just want to start with taking 3 grounding breaths so that we can center ourselves and also align ourselves to each other and align ourselves to the work that we're about to get into now. So that's just going to be a deep breath in through the nose and then out in whatever way is most comfortable to you. Okay, so we'll do 3 of those. You can do those in your own time, and I will do mine, and then I'm going to get into it. Okay. I trust that you all have completed your cycles of deep breathing. And so we're going to get into our reading now. Okay. Mother Rose, and before, I don't know if y'all know this, but I use my Rose Oracle deck. That's who I tap. This is who I tap in with when I get into the Oracle cards. And of course, my spiritual team is always with me as well. Mother Rose, you who were present long before we, and you who will continue after we're gone, bless this oracle and all who use it. May it be a gateway for all to return to ourselves, the earth, and each other. May our connection with the voice of our soul be made stronger with every use. May all who touch it feel cherished, held, loved, softened, and seen. May it deliver insight, understanding, compassion, and guidance that's in the highest interest of all beings, past, present, and future. When I am holding space for another, help me to step out of the way and invite others to connect with the wisdom that exists deep within them. Guide me and all who use it to embrace our ever-changing true nature and the seasons of our lives with compassion, understanding, and grace. Show us how we can plant ourselves here more deeply than ever before. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mother Rose, bless these cards and speak through them. Reveal to us, the collective, what's helpful for us to remember and know. And may the messages that come through today's reading be relevant and resonant to all who encounter this message, no matter when they encounter this message. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you all for giving me that time and space to tap in. After I do my invocation prayer, I start to shuffle the cards, and you have been here before, you know that sometimes cards jump at me because those are the ones that want to be talked about. Those are the ones that we need to know about. They contain the messages that we need to know. No jumpers today, fam. One, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do a 4-card joint today. All right. Ready? Let's get it. Let's go. Get your notebook. Get your tea. Get your water. Take a little sip. Let me clear my throat. All right. Okay. Our first card of the day of today's reading is the Thorn. Protection, boundaries, clear communication. Take a look at the Thorn card. Isn't she gorgeous? I love this deck. Y'all know I got a thing with roses. They my favorite. And that was one of the things that was magnetizing, between me and this particular deck. I really am into the design. It's beautiful. What we see here is the actual flower of the rose. And then like around this rose, there are a bunch of, what do you call those joints? The stem. And the stem is like bursting with little thorns. Something else to note is that it's not just the flower of the rose by itself, but it's being held in a pair of hands. And around the hands, there's all this adornment, rose adornment, of course. There's a mystical figure here. See this? See her? She's like a mystical figure. And then there's a crown of thorns, like not so much a crown like that would go around the head like this, but kind of like that, like an arc. That's the best way of describing that. And there's like a shawl or like a veil there, which makes me think about that protection. And then there are beings, other figures behind this mystical figure. They could be protective figures. They could also be figures that the mystic figure is putting up boundaries from, if that makes sense. Now, just in a general sense, right? Oh, one more thing. That thorny adornment is also on that veil, and there's also like a representation of thorn, a big thorn back here. That's really interesting. That's a really interesting part. I love her veil that has the thorns on it, protecting. That's a form of protection. In a general sense, the rose itself has the stem has what you call thorns on it, and it protects the rose from, intruders. Anything that would mean the rose harm. It's not gonna stand a chance once it gets pricked by those thorns. So the rose does come with its own, what I would like to say, internal protection. How do we activate our internal protection? You know what I mean? Like, how do we activate our internal protection in the form of boundaries? And one way we do that reminds me, of what the next part of the card says, or the last part rather, which is clear communication. So it's like, I can't expect anybody to know how to treat me or what I expect or what I need if I don't communicate that clearly. And when I feel that my boundaries have been crossed, it's really, first a check-in with myself to say, hey, City, is this something that you've discussed with this person? Would this person even have an awareness that they may have crossed your boundary? Have you clearly communicated that? And if I haven't, then that gives me an opportunity to do that. And if I have, that also gives me an opportunity to go and readdress whatever boundaries that have been crossed, and also for me to, rethink how I engage with that, with my level of protection in that scenario, with that particular person, or whatever. Um, this this is resonating for me on a different level also, because as I said earlier, we just jumped into Pisces season. Pisces is, and I'm speaking from myself as a moon sign. Anyone who has resonance as a Pisces sun or Pisces in other areas of their chart, please, let me know what's going on in the comment section about what you resonate with it. But you know something that pinged off of me for this, when it came to my Pisces energy, is protecting myself from escapism, protecting myself from the fantasy world, living, not living too much in that, because that Pisces energy can kind of do that. um, making sure I have clear boundaries with myself as well, like not being too overindulgent, like I said, not being too caught up in the fantasy world, not being too caught up in my daydreams, having of course, visualizing and daydreaming. That's important for us all to do, no matter what sun, moon, whatever sign we have. However, not leaning so heavily on that I lose touch with the reality. So that's a personal message for me about reinforcing my own personal boundaries. Uh, it's important for all of us to reinforce our own personal boundaries, protect ourselves, and we do that with clear communication, and also, like, not just to other people, clear communication, but clear communication within ourselves, like not tricking ourselves into thinking that we should accept something that isn't okay just because it's the status quo, or just because we want to please a certain person that we care about. Nah, like, communicate with yourself about what you need, what you want, what you desire, what you deserve, what you expect, so that you can even more clearly communicate that with others. Um, we also go look into the guidebook, and we listen to the messages, the breakdown from here. So get your um, get your pen and paper ready. Um, Another thing is this: when we are able to clearly establish and communicate our boundaries with ourselves and each and other people, that's a radical form of love. It's a form of loving ourselves enough to know what our boundaries are, and knowing, like, I'm not going to let myself, talking to myself, or anyone else overstep them. And it also gives other people a chance to authentically love you, because they know you. They know who you are and who you aren't, because you're so clear about who you are and who you aren't by the establishment of your boundaries, right? So we're going to get into the guidebook. We're going to let it breathe, and we're going to go to card number 2. Okay. Protection, boundaries, clear communication. This card is called the Thorn. The rose is the queen of all flowers. Her soft and fragrant bloom takes our breath away from near and far. A bridge between heaven and earth, she has the capacity to act as a portal to our true selves and call our soul more fully into our body. That's heavy, y'all. You might need to run that back. I ain't gonna say that again. Just rewind that back. She leaves us in awe, allowing us to experience heaven on earth for a very precious moment. Wow. But the rose is not all gentle and soft. In fact, most roses are armored with spiky thorns and prickles of various shapes and sizes. These sharp protectors act like knights defending their queen, clearly setting the necessary boundary and conditions for her to do what she was born to do. We too are like the rose. So often we don't get taught how important clear communication and loving boundaries are to our relationships. When we're not clear on our needs, when we don't communicate them, when we don't take responsibility for them, it's impossible for others to give us what we need. Y'all know it's true. And I'm grateful for this confirmation. This often results in a breakdown in a relationship. Who can relate to a relationship? I'm putting my hands up first before y'all could. But who could relate to a relationship breaking down because of a lack of clear communication? For whatever reason, we're not here to, talk about or judge why the communication was poor or unclear. But if there was unclear or poor communication in a relationship, who can relate to that relationship having some type of rift in some way? I can. Communicating our needs and establishing our boundaries allows us not just to feel safe, but those we're in a relationship with to feel safe too. This card delivers the message of the importance of clear communication, boundaries, and taking responsibility for our needs. To be clear with others, we must first be clear with ourselves. Hello. And then communicate this to our loved ones in the world. A word. And I'm grateful for the message. I am grateful for the communication. I am grateful for the confirmation. Thank you. So after the blurb inside the book, there's a soul inquiry or a soul transmission. Not soul transmission, rose transmission. And that's the part that we work on. So if anything from this message resonate with you, get ready to write this down. What loving boundaries are you being called to establish? How are you being called to communicate clearly to those you're in a relationship with? Let me say it one more time. What loving boundaries are you being called to establish? And how are you being called to communicate clearly to those you're in a relationship with? Okay, I'm just doing my thing too, family. I'm just writing my own little notes because I told y'all this is as much for me as it is for you. I'm part of the collective too. Okay, so this was the thorn. And we pulled this card back in December also. If you were here for that, you may remember that. So it's coming back up again. It could be time for us to reestablish those boundaries. It could be, it's always good to remind ourselves of that. And it's like I said, these messages are going to resonate with whomever comes across them when it's time for them to. So all is well. I'm like trying to drink my tea before it goes cold. It's already lukewarm now though. So let's get ready for card number 2. Okay. Our second card today is the Mystic Rose. I'm going back to my notes because we pulled the Mystic Rose in October, November, and I don't know why I don't have our January note written down, but the Mystic Rose continues to come up. Word to me, because I know like this message resonates with me on a really deeply personal level. I might get into it with y'all. I might not. But check it. On the Mystic Rose, you have this womanly figure, this feminine figure who like in the best way that I can describe would remind us of a deity in some way. The way that there's, there's this light shining. She's covered in robes. There's this halo type energy we see right in her aura with like those heavenly sun rays coming out of it. She is standing in front of what looks like an archway. And those type of arches remind me of like these very pristine churches in like Europe somewhere. There are roses all over her, specifically like where her third eye is, also covering both our 2 eyes. Some of us say first eye. and then covering her two eyes. There's roses by her heart, and there are roses adorning, sides of her robe, and then there are hands. Y'all know that this deck is, loves the hands. So there are hands like caressing her gently here and here and here. Let's see if I can y'all get into that? Hands by the throat, right? So, okay. All right. So compassion, devotion, humility, humanity, grace. The mystic rose. So this is for what I'm picking up today is a reminder that if you feel it, like if you feel the call, if you feel the energy, if you feel that you are meant for something more than what you may be doing now or what you may have thought was possible, that's because you are. And it's not always easy to come out of our comfort zone and step into that light, step into that space. But you were called to do it because only you can. Like, can't nobody do it like you. So, like there are plenty of people out here doing readings with oracle cards, tarot cards, no cards, You know what I'm saying? No one's doing it like me. There are plenty of people out here doing holistic wellness coaching. No one does it like me. That goes for the exact same thing that you do. Whether you are an artist, an administrator, a gamer, a content creator, a teacher, someone who works with children, like a babysitter or something, whatever it is that you do, graphic design, interior design, nursing, creating jewelry, whatever it is that you do that you're passionate about, you may not be the only one in the whole wide world who does it, but you are the only one in the world who does it like you. So having compassion for ourselves allows us to have compassion for others. And then that is like a drive to go and do this work. Whatever this work is for you, having devotion to our source, however you resonate with that energy. Some people say God, some say universe, spirit, the divine. However you resonate with that energy, having devotion to that and your connection to source and spirit and divine. All of this really helps out and enhances that energy of approaching it with a certain type of grace and humility that's necessary when dealing with humanity. Remembering the humanity that you bring to the table, and then also remembering the humanity that you are going to encounter. This deck is like very like feminine energy heavy, and that's not like a knock on dudes or anything, or anyone who presents with their masculine energy. It's just, like an invitation for us to tap into our feminine energy. When I say feminine energy, I don't mean like women, like, I don't just mean like that, like female. I mean like the feminine energy of rest, relaxation, planning, meditating, connecting to divine spirit. We're at a time where the matriarchal energy is rising back on the planet, and people like me who have this type of energetic output for the purpose of benefiting the collective, it is time for us to rise up, get ourselves together. We may be processing deep-seated wounds from the past or even past lives that made us feel more comfortable to hide. And that's okay, but it's time for us to come out of that. Let's go. The mystic rose: compassion, devotion, humility, humanity, grace. The rose was a symbol of the goddesses of old. So it's no wonder that when Christianity absorbed large parts of the indigenous Celtic traditions in Europe, the mother goddess Mother Mary became associated with the rose. Perhaps the reason Mary is so beloved is because she was the only mother goddess who could be worshipped safely, and as such carries with her the devotion and yearning of all those who long to worship the goddess in a feminine form. Mary's connection with the rose is seen in some of her titles, including Rosa Mystica, which means the mystic rose, and the rose without thorns. Like those of the pagan goddesses before her, the processions that honored Mary involved walking on rose petals. The church altered the stories of the goddesses past, including those that featured roses, such as Aphrodite turning the white rose red with her blood, putting Mary in the goddess's place. Churches were erected all over Europe and beyond, in many cases on the site of Celtic temples and places of goddess worship. I talked about that in our last session, real quick. I talked about that in our last session, how the placement of buildings like that are there for a reason, because they draw upon the energy of the earth where they are. We can talk about that at a different time though. Many had beautiful rose windows in the west, the direction of the feminine, in dedication to Mary, mother of the rose. This is a card of compassion, devotion, and grace. It encourages us to soften toward humanity and to endeavor to see the world, even those who have hurt us, with understanding, an open heart, and deep humility, to see that we all carry hurt and are all wounded. We have all experienced severing. Mother Mary is inviting you to open your heart to humanity when you most want to close. And like, so that deep resonance for me, and like the fact that this keeps coming up is because, yeah, like a lot of times I do want to shut down. A lot of times I do just say, you know what, like, ain't nobody hearing me, ain't nobody listening to me, no one's watching my lives, no one's, that's not true though. I connected with someone who does a blog on books I read as a teenager. And for like 14 years, this girl was dedicated to this blog, and barely no one ever saw it. But it was her. It was her calling to do this, and gave her joy. Made her very happy. She did this blog. I found it like this year, so it's now like I said, 14 years later, she's getting engagement. If she didn't have that compassion even for herself to keep going, then would I have been able to tap in? So it's never really about, we got to get over that. Let me talk to myself. I ain't talking to y'all. Girl, you got to get over that. Share your voice no matter what. Have compassion for yourself and what you may have gone through. Know that you are going to come out of it. And then have compassion for others who might need to hear what you have to say, but don't even know how to engage with you, or who may have wronged you before. But deserve another chance, because we all do. Our soul inquiry is, how are you being called to show compassion today? Wait, my little notebook. How are you being called to show compassion today? I think that it is so poignant, like in the important way, that I continue to pull this card with y'all every month. I don't pull this card when I just, do readings with, when I do individual readings, You know what I'm saying? Like every month we get this. So like, I really pray we're getting a message to, how can we be called to show more compassion? That's word to me. That's word to all of us. I was feeling a little frustrated earlier because I was feeling like, underappreciated and taken advantage of, but I'm going to push myself to show more compassion in this situation. We have 2 cards to go, family. Let's get it. Let's see. I might warm it up when we're finished here. That water is good though. And this bottle is BPA free. That's important to me. All right, so here we go. Our next card is Morning Dew. Ooh, I like this one. We haven't pulled this one together. Morning Dew, clarity, a fresh start, a positive outlook. That's some Piscean energy, baby. Cause look at this. You got the figure here. She's all up in the water. Water is cleansing. You can release in water, and water is also cleansing. And I just wonder if this is like a baby or if I'm looking too deep into this, but I think it's just like the rose petals and how they're like curling around her. But like, do you see this little part, this little thing right here? It reminds me that I wonder if that's supposed to be a baby or if I'm just like seeing things. But either way, right? You know, this I'm not gonna like show the tea because if I do, like, can y'all see? I don't want to like spill it, but like, when I look through here, it's brown peppermint tea. You know what I mean? I can't see through it, but with the water, I can see clear through it, right? So that this clarity, you clean when you use water to clean things. There's a fresh start, a positive outlook. That dew that falls in the morning or in the rising, as I would prefer to say, is indication of a new day, a beautiful, most gracious new day. And so, with that, you know, we're all gonna have bad days or like undesirable days. I'll say. However, what happened in an undesirable way yesterday isn't going to repeat today. It's not going to repeat that same thing the next day. So having that clarity is really important, to know that, having the clarity to know that it's not going to repeat in the same exact way, that you can always start fresh. You can just say, you know what? Scratch that, stop, reverse it. We're going to do it a different way. This is not for you to engage in like toxic positivity and put on a happy face and like everything's fine. The house is burning. Oh my god, it's still okay. No, we're not saying that. We're just more so saying that know that even when things look like the brown coffee, tea, it ain't coffee. See that you can't see through. It looked like coffee though. I want y'all to see it because it's so dark. See, that's my peppermint tea. Even though it looks like I can't see the light. It looks like I can't see clearly. I know clarity is coming. Meditation is my number one go-to tool for enhancing the clarity in my life. I speak a lot about meditation on my Patreon channel. If you're there already, you know how much I speak about how meditation has completely changed my life. And even if the day has already started, I can jump into a meditation for a quick reset. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate this reminder, especially after pulling the Mystic Robes, because it's like if I haven't been in a place where I've been showing myself compassion, or if I have not been in a place where I've been showing others compassion, I can strike that reverse, stop and reverse it, and work on that. I can work on finding a different level of clarity that allows me that fresh start and that positive outlook so I can show compassion. Let's get into what the bookie book has to say about morning dew. It's reminding me of that song from back in the day. Like the dew in the morning, gently rest upon my heart. Remember that song, y'all? All right, let's get into it. Morning dew, clarity, a fresh start, a positive outlook. There's a special moment when the day is new and the sun is still young, when we too are given the opportunity to begin again. The presence of the morning dew welcomes us with the grace of a fresh start, and as the moisture gathers on the rose, it invites us to see things clearly, sometimes in a whole new way than we did the previous day. Thank you. A new perspective is suddenly here. Healers from all corners of the earth believe in the incredible healing quality of the morning dew. They believe that it possesses the same healing properties as the plants themselves, with the dew capturing their essence in clear potency. Practices such as walking barefoot on the morning dew, drinking from the petals of flowers, and placing dew on the body are thought to bring about powerful shifts in healing. If we're lucky enough to meet the morning in this way, we too may be blessed by the special healing liquid that carries the secret essence of both the earth and the entire universe within it, the morning dew. This card brings a message that clarity is on its way, a new start and a change of perspective are possible, shifts are coming. The future is looking renewed, hopeful, positive, and bright. Keep focusing on your ideal outcome and trust in the presence of the potent morning dew. This card comes with the Rose Transmission. It's an affirmation and mantra that you can say in your meditations or just say at any time where you need to call in this energy. Excuse me. It says, I'm open to receiving the potent clarity and shifts of the morning dew. I'm open to seeing the situation with new eyes. I'm open to receiving the potent clarity and shifts of the morning dew. I'm open to seeing this situation with new eyes. Okay? Thank you. That's a beautiful card. I want to show y'all that one more time. Look at how beautiful that is. The colors. I know I love these colors too, like that soft pink, purple, blue, like type of thing going on, looking kind of iridescent. All right, last one. Here we go. Come to me. Come to me. One of my favorite cards. I pulled this one before, and I'm not sure if I pulled this with you all or not, but this is a card that I pulled for myself and others. Come to me, attracting like a rose, receive abundance, desires. All right, so bang, like this beautiful feminine figure is in the center of a rose. There's hummingbirds, there's a bee, and she is just in this blissful, look at her face. Is this like, okay? She's just like in this blissful state of receiving. And she just knows that she is going to receive. You know, the rose don't sit there and like crane its little neck and go, the little bulb neck and go, I wonder if this bee is gonna come over here. I mean, the rose just be there chilling, minding her business. And what comes to the rose comes to her. We are abundant beings. We are connected to source, a never-ending source. So whatever your soul desires, you are meant to have. You just have to know that. And it's not about chasing either. It's not about, listen, don't get me wrong. We live in a society that has taught us that we have to chase everything. But it's not about chasing the bag. It's about being who you are and the bag magnetizing to you because of who you are and what you are contributing, what you're bringing based on who you are. Okay? So, receive that. Receive what you're meant to receive and receive it beautifully and receive it with gratitude. Come to me. Attracting like a rose, receive abundance, desires. Have you ever noticed how in summer, when the roses are at their fullest and their scent is hanging in the air, bees and other pollinators suddenly appear? Pollination, I am going to run that bit. Have you ever noticed how in the summer, when the roses are at their fullest and their scent is hanging in the air, bees and other pollinators suddenly appear? When the rose is at its peak, being exactly who it is At the height of that energy, the bees come. Pollination happens when pollen from one plant mixes with pollen from another, or is transferred from the stigma of one flower to the stigma of another. Roses don't go running all over the place, reaching and grabbing, okay? Rather, they rely on the bees to come to them. It's coming. The rose is never reaching for the bee. It's never grasping or overstretching. It embraces what it is fully and allows life to come to it. The rose don't chase the bag. Period. It receives fully. It receives fully. So it doesn't say, oh no, thank you. Oh no, you're too kind. I'm not going to have that. It says yes. Give me what's due to me. It doesn't open and close according to who walks by. It opens and blooms regardless. Word. This card is about receiving abundance, rose style. It's an invitation to receive the sweetness of your life, to embrace the magnificence of who you are, and also to open yourself up to the possibility of receiving what you yearn for deeply. Because what your heart desires, you shall have. To be clear on what you desire, to trust that all that's meant for you wants to come to you, to state your desires out loud and let your yearnings be known, to ask for what you desire. Don't reach or grasp. Don't strive, control, or manipulate. That will leave you exhausted, parched, and brittle. This card delivers the message that true, sustainable abundance is coming. Connect with your sensual, true nature. Be unashamed of what you desire, and when it comes, relish each moment with gratitude. So, your soul inquiry is, what do you desire? What are you ready to open up yourself to receive? How can you attract like a flower? Say it one more time. What do you desire? What are you ready to open yourself up to receive? How can you attract like a flower? That second question is so important. What are you ready to open up to receive? Because we could be in our minds like wanting to receive so much, but in all of our other energetic spaces be closed to receiving. So, meditations on or activations with healers and light workers to help open up your receiving channels, that's beneficial work if you feel like you're experiencing a blockage there. Okay, you already know what time it is. We have done all of our cards today. I want to close us out with thank you, Smother Rose, for the messages that were on time and resonant to the collective. Thank you to my spiritual team for always being with me, always supporting me. Thank you to the spiritual teams of everyone who is attending or who is watching this. And thank you to everyone who is watching this. With gratitude, with love, I sincerely appreciate you. Thank you so much for tapping in and tuning in with me today for our divine guidance. If any of these messages resonate with you, please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments, and also let me know if they don't. And I really trust that I will see you next time, and bring a friend next time. Let them know what we get into over here, and let them know that they may have something that they need jump out at them. I know I got so much out of today. I'm so grateful. Thank y'all so much. And I'll see you next time. Peace, family. Journey on. Love, City John.